I'm Aoife and I work for Calais Food Collective, mostly helping to lead the water and advocacy projects in the collective. CFC it advocates for food and water autonomy for people on the move in Calais. Partly we work to undermine the hostile environment created by the state here. So that involves distributing food and water to different living sites in Calais. And then we also work doing different types of advocacy work, some like direct action, protests, and also trying to lobby the state directly to provide people with access to their, basic human rights such as water and food. Access to water is very limited in Calais. So the state does provide some water distributions. However, these are not every day. Also, sometimes people live very far from where these distributions are. We try and fill in some of the gaps providing our water, which we do by filling big water tanks close to the living sites. The biggest obstruction to us distributing water is the state. The authorities confiscate our water tanks really frequently, so people sometimes are left without water. And we have seen incidences also of people drinking water from dirty rivers or stagnant water from lakes, especially when the tanks are taken, because in the meantime they don't have access, so they resort to drinking water that's not necessarily safe or clean. I'd say one of the main risks is when people drink the water that's not safe. It could have high presence of bacteria, it could just be dirty water. But the other thing is that when people don't have regular access to the clean water, then their kind of access to hygiene then is really limited. So we work a little bit with some of the medical associations in Calais, and they talk about how important it is for people to be able to, wash up their cooking equipment, wash up their hands. For the spread of diseases, it's become a really big issue sometimes in some of the places. People live in very close conditions, and if it's difficult for people to clean, themselves and the stuff that they're using in their everyday life, then that can really promote the spread of diseases. Yeah, so the main thing that's really important is for the state to start providing a reliable access to water for people. The best thing would be for the state to install taps at the living sites. That would be the bare minimum, so that people have, access to water all day, every day, something that everybody takes for granted, but it's actually really, really important for just people being able to live. And better than that would be for people to have actual access to hot water as well. In the winter, we get a lot of people asking us, to be able to shower, to be able to warm themselves up. This is something that, at the minute, they can only take water from our cold water tanks. So, yeah.